Have you wondered what financial advisors actually think about finances? This is your sneak peek at the conversations within Financial Design Studio. Michelle Smallenberger, the CEO here, will be your host as you go behind the designs.
All right, welcome back to the podcast. The end of the year is upon us, and it's actually the second most common time that people think about their finances. And it's your last chance to make any changes before the end of the tax year, and people are usually spending a lot of money because it's Christmas time. So there's kind of this mix of financial things going on. And one of the things that I'm starting to think about is really kind of this holiday shopping. How are we spending our money? And so we wanted to record this podcast to talk about like smart holiday shopping. It's really a gift to your financial future. So you don't want to have any regrets. You want to be able to move on once Christmas is done and enjoy the next January, moving on to the next year. So I want to welcome to our podcast today. This is going to be a really big treat for you. My sister, Lisa Gottschalk. She is joining us today. Welcome, Lisa.
Hello.
All right. Now you have to know that Lisa is a part of our team. She's our support director. So when you upload things kind of behind the scenes, she's the one managing a lot of that. And she likes to stay behind the scenes. So this is a treat because she's coming out from behind the scenes to record this. But there's a reason, and it's because Lisa, when I'm busy, and so I want to get a good deal, I want to spend money wisely. And so Lisa's usually the one that I'm texting saying, how can I get this? Where's a good website? What are the deals out there? Even just on like basic day-to-day things. So she's the one that follows all of those things. She's always trying to spend really carefully. So also just like really thoughtful, and you're going to hear this in a lot of these things. So that is why we have Lisa joining us today, which I know this is going to be really great, really helpful for parents, anybody that has to buy gifts. So parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, anyone. This is going to give you a lot of ideas, a lot of ways that you can spend, not necessarily on things, but yeah, I'm not going to give it all away here in the beginning. We're going to go everywhere. So this is going to be great. Lisa, thank you for joining us. And like I said, we're sisters, so I'm sure we're going to throw in a lot of stories about us, and this will be fun. So because it's Christmas, I just saw, or because we're getting ready for Christmas, so we're like right before Thanksgiving, so we're a week and a half before. And I just, in preparing for this, I pulled up this article. It was kind of like 2023 shopping statistics for the holidays. And I was actually surprised that most people by the end of October have already started. It was like 43% have already started their Christmas shopping, which is kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Does that surprise you or no?
Yeah, it's bigger. It's bigger than I would imagine. Because you think Black Friday, everyone's waiting and they want to get through Thanksgiving first. So yeah, it is a little shocking.
Yeah, I was surprised. So I was kind of like, okay, maybe they've like started to think about it, maybe they haven't actually purchased, but they're starting. So that was surprising. Yeah. And then before Thanksgiving, it was another 25%. So basically by the time Thanksgiving comes, 75% of people have already been doing their shopping, started it. So in light of that, we're going to start with a really quick Would You Rather Christmas edition round here so you can get to know us a little bit more, our personalities. So I'm going to ask you some questions, Lisa. We'll both answer our answers so you can kind of hear, and maybe out there you can also decide what you do. So, all right, when is the right time to put up your Christmas tree?
Ooh, after Thanksgiving, preferred the day after if I can, but definitely December 1st at least.
Okay. And then how long do you leave it up? That's like the follow-up.
Yeah, it has to go down like right after New Year's.
Okay.
Because I'm a January birthday, so I don't want it up for my birthday. So it's got to go before then.
Smart. Yeah, that's a good answer. I could have it up year round. I mean, like I would love it up all year. I'm one of those Christmases forever people.
No.
But I feel like now I have started this wait until after Thanksgiving. I think Steve appreciates when he's like, let's at least enjoy Thanksgiving. So then the next day it goes up like that weekend. And then, you really start. And it's usually comes down sometime in January, or it turns into a birthday tree. We did that last year, so you can try that.
No.
That was
not
fun.
For it.
But it was actually a birthday tree. I didn't leave it as Christmas. I decorated it like for the birthday.
Okay. It works for you.
I see. This is where we're different. All right. When can you start listening to Christmas music?
I could start pretty early. I mean, today I did put some on just to get myself in the mood for this podcast, but ideally after Thanksgiving too. Like go with the tree, same timing.
Okay. All right. And I could, again, year round. There's really never an end time, I guess.
Oh, man. No, don't agree. But
I could. I don't.
You.
It doesn't mean that I always do. All right. Ugly Christmas sweaters. Yes or no?
Yes.
We should say, do you have them?
Yes. Yes. I have several that I have bought after Christmas on sale.
Nice.
Super cheap. I have a cow one that lights up because I love black and white Holstein cows. So yes, I think they're fun. I'm glad they came back out with them in, the last decade. They're pretty fun.
Yep. That's great. I still haven't bought one, even though sometimes we talk about wearing them to our sibling Christmas dinner. Still haven't bought one, but I love the idea of it. Okay. Mistletoe or mistle-no?
I do not have mistletoe in my house.
Okay.
Not that I'm against it, but just creates too much awkwardness, I think.
Yeah, same. We do not hang it. I don't know why. Again, yeah. It's like maybe one of those you're trying to avoid whatever questions might come up.
Yeah.
With kids around.
Yes.
Last minute shopper or start in January of the next year?
I start early. It really technically, yes, January, because I'm buying wrapping paper, I'm buying tape, all in January, not just for Christmas, birthdays, whatever. So, yeah, I start early.
Okay, but then do you buy gifts starting in January or no? Like, would you if you found stuff?
If I found something very specific, not just, it's a Christmas present that I'll save for next year. It's got to be something like that was on the list that year for someone that I know they would like the next year as well. So only if it's an absolute. Yes.
Okay. See, if I did that, the danger would be that I would want to give it to them like right away. I'm like, no, they can't wait another year to use this. And it's like burning a hole in my closet because every good parent puts all the gifts in their closets, right?
Right. I do.
All right, same.
Don't tell the kids.
I know, right? Our job is going to be to not let them listen to this episode.
That's right.
Before Christmas. All right. Opening presents in your pajamas. Yes or no?
Yes. I think it just adds to the excitement of Christmas.
Yep. Okay. I say yes. However, then if people, when you're taking pictures, if you're like, I want to remember this, I'm like, I don't want to look like that. Okay. Now you know.
Yeah.
All right. But yes, it's fun. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Send Christmas cards.
Not every year, but when I do have the time, think about it. I try to send a letter, not necessarily cards. So depends on the year. Maybe not happening this year.
Okay. I want to. I have the best intentions, but it just doesn't get done. So
I love getting them though. Some people are so good about it. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Okay, final question before we dig in here. Black Friday shopping, yes or no?
I am a no. I mean, there's good deals on specific things, but usually I don't want those specific things. So I would rather not face all the crowds. It is fun to go with friends and just be there for the craziness that ensues. But no, I am not a Black Friday shopper.
Yeah, I'm the same. Usually I'm kind of like, I don't need it that bad that I want to fight the crowds or stand in line. I did do it one year. I think when Steve and I are dating, we did. But I think the experience, actually, like thinking about it, if somebody on Thanksgiving was like, does anybody want to go with me to go stand in line for this TV? I'd be like, let's go do it.
Yeah.
First, we're going to stop at Starbucks and get a drink. And then we're going to the experience, the fun of it. Yes, that's what I love. So
yes. Good memories.
All right. Well, I think this is actually a really great setup because now everybody's thinking of what they do, what they don't do, what they agree with, don't agree with, the parties that they're going to go. Like everybody's now thinking about all these pieces that surround the holidays. And this is kind of like a reality check, like a check-in that after the holidays, we kind of go from Christmas and then it's tax season, like I mentioned, and you really don't want to have this big credit card bill, this, a lot of debt, and then go into tax season where if you haven't been planning, now you're thinking, oh, great, now I have to save for taxes. That's what we're trying to avoid. And so it's kind of this reality check of, we're going to spend money to give gifts to people we love, but it's a tricky balance of spreading joy and maintaining that financial well-being, so you aren't feeling financially exhausted once the new year comes. We don't want to start that way. So today, that's what we're exploring, are practical ways to do this well. So really the first step in this, and Lisa, we've talked a lot about this, just crafting a thoughtful plan. So let's just kind of start. You share like how many kids you have. I have Emma, so one child. What about you?
I have 3 kiddos.
Okay.
And
Yep.
2 have December birthdays. So
Okay. So that even plays
very
into
expensive.
this.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So this is kind of like a time of year where you want to do it well. And so if we're thinking about a plan, let's just start with, I guess, the first things that you should do. And would you say, like, when I think about this is like, where do you even start? So Christmas is coming and birthdays. Why don't you explain how you kind of think about this?
Yeah, I think it's just planning. Like you said, definitely you have to have a plan. And with Thanksgiving coming up, you're thinking about what you're thankful for, what you already have, gratitude in general. And I think that should really carry into Christmas. So what do I already have? Do I really need these things? I'm thinking I have great ideas, or just commercials are bombarding me with, I need this, and these are the new things, and they're on sale Black Friday. Do I really need it? Because I have so much already. So I think it's really getting in the mindset, what do I already have? And that can take a lot of things off your list, or the quantity of things off your list.
Yeah.
So I think it's getting in the right mindset first.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, because I love that we're like setting this up. So it's almost kind of like if you're setting your kids up to think with that mindset, then going into Christmas, of course, we want to have fun giving gifts and them getting gifts. But if we start with that mindset of, I already have everything I need or want, and, but there are other things, then it's maybe that helps to kind of help that a little bit. Okay. Yeah. So when I think about this, so you have 3 different kids. How do you make a list? Do you talk with your husband? Like, how is this process where you're kind of thinking of what to get them?
Yeah, so I definitely come up with a list, and usually I buy the same categories every year. So usually it's a set of books or like a study of some sort that I'll give them. So something they can learn from. And then something they need. And I know it doesn't sound fun, but like socks, like a pack of new socks. Who doesn't like new, cozy, fluffy socks? I mean, they're great, even though kids are like, it's socks. Still, they appreciate them. I know they do.
Yeah.
And then usually a few things that they really want. When they were little, I just did like one big gift and small stocking stuff because they were little. I mean, they don't remember the quantity. As they get older, they want a few more things to unwrap. It's fun to unwrap. So if you can like break some of those things up into smaller packages, they think they got a lot, but it's really just broken down differently. So being creative like that. But I try to think in categories, like I said, of those few things that I can get them year to year. And then from there, my husband and I really just narrow down, okay, what are they interested in? This fits in that category, and kind of working together. But we do make a list, and then we can edit that list. Because if it's all in your head, you start to think of new things and you can't keep track of what you've already thought you're going to do. So definitely make a list.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too, because I can definitely get caught in that trap of, oh wait, but there's something cooler. There's something that I just, saw an ad for, and then you want to get that. And you're like, but I already have 3 things or 10 things. And what's one more at that point?
Right.
But 2 is, it's kind of like, is it back to that, like them being thankful for what they're getting? Is it meaningful? Is it, something that they're really going to enjoy? So when I think about this, I think sometimes this is where people struggle, is even thinking of what to give. Because as kids get older, they kind of get into things. So if they really have interest in stuff, then, let's say that they like running or like swimming, is there something that they could use in those to help them get better at that thing?
Right. Yeah. And I mean, you can put their interest into a book. Like if they're really into, say, an instrument, you can get them books about that instrument. Or if they're into animals, get them all the different types of animals. Like it's usually a set of books. I'll get them because it just, it makes an impact. Oh, I got the whole set in one. So that can be exciting. But yeah, definitely if they're into music or certain sports, even just personalizing things, say, if she's into swimming, getting her some type of swim gear with her name on it. It sets it apart from everyone else's. She knows you thought about it because you took the extra time to get her name on it. Or a favorite saying on something, or even like a small joke you have as a family, put it on there. There's just lots of simple ways you can add like that extra meaning to something that's maybe basic or didn't cost you a lot, but just putting that little extra oomph on it.
I know one thing, like customizing. So like when you're saying putting names on it, this is kind of why you have to start early, because so many of these things, if you want to have a name embroidered on it or get something like that, you do have to order it well in advance so it comes in time.
Yeah. And you can think magazine subscriptions. It doesn't have to be something they have that day. You could cut out the little card that you ordered it from, and they'll know they're going to be getting that throughout the whole year as well.
Yeah, I love that. Like those subscriptions, because then all year, especially like the monthly, if it's coming once a month, I know Emma looks forward to that. So it's fun for them to go to the mailbox.
Yeah, it makes it last longer.
Yeah, I think even other ones. So if you have like nicknames for your kids, so Emma, we've called her like M&Ms. And so I usually try to do something that's M&M related and, and do it like that. So it's even like fun stuff like that where you're kind of like, okay, every year I do one thing that has this. So I think there's just like so many creative ways that I think don't you think that kids feel special when it's kind of custom to them? It's not just something that you could go get off the shelf.
Definitely. And especially like think of them at school. Like it can be their pencils, like pencils with their name on it in their favorite color, a water bottle. I mean, they use those things. They're practical, but they're also fun, and it's just for them, especially with Emma having a common name. There's probably other Emmas at her school, but if it says M&M, she knows that's her, and probably her friends do too. So it's kind of fun and just makes it extra special, even something simple.
Yeah, no, I just think there's so many fun ways, but sometimes you just kind of need to hear these from like other people. Like as we're just sharing kind of some that we've done over the years, I know when I hear people talk about things, you'll pick up like a new idea and I just think, oh, that's such a great idea. I'm going to do that. So I love like, hopefully this is kind of just giving people a lot of stuff to brainstorm with plenty of time to even still do things. All right. So another way is, so even just the gifts that you choose, like even the way you give it or the way you wrap it. So this is something, let's think like kids, or sometimes like how to get the gift for people who have everything, or they say, I don't need anything. Talk a little bit about that. How do you give someone a gift who says that?
Usually when I think of that, that's adults, like kids want everything. So usually it's the adults that I'm thinking of, maybe grandparents, aunts and uncles. It could be a distant relative who doesn't live close and you don't get to visit for the holidays. So you have to think of how you can make it special to send to them. But usually when someone says, I don't know what I want, because they have most everything they need. They're very practical people. So I try to think of something very sentimental for those people. And usually that's getting my kids involved. So if it's the way we wrap it, then my kids could get a roll of that big paper. They can decorate it and we can use that to wrap it. And the grandparents love that it's their drawings on the outside of the package. It's like a present in and of itself. So get your kids involved with it. They might think of some great ideas. But they can even help with ideas like, say it's for the grandparents and they don't really want a gift. The kids can put on a show for them, like wrap like a ticket to a, talent show from the grandkids, and they could sing them a song, they could read them a book, tell them some jokes. I mean, kids love doing that stuff because then they also see how it is to give a gift and they enjoy it because they're like, oh, I saw their face when we were singing the song, or when they opened it, they're like, oh, that's like the best gift ever. So, but the thing is, those are memories. So you can't package them up. You don't throw it away. Like they'll always remember that. So gifts like those I find are really special, or the ones that don't cost money, like a coupon book for an adult or a kid. This works great for kids. You can make a little coupon book. We all have time. And with kids, sometimes we're working, we have school, we have activities. You don't have all the time to do the things you want. So maybe it's one night, we're going to have only board games. And so they can hand in that ticket, set it on the calendar and you're going to do that for an evening, or let them have the remote for a whole day, put it on a ticket. They can turn it in. They get to watch what they want. They're in charge. Maybe making a special family recipe, like something that grandma would make and that you only get at grandma's. Call grandma, ask her for the recipe, make it at home with your kids. They would have a lot of fun with that. So trying to think not even just things you can go buy, but things you can do at home with your time that you don't always have time to do. And you can do that with grandparents as well, especially if they can't drive. Take them out for the night. Go look at Christmas lights throughout the neighborhood. I'm sure they would love doing that. Or get some friends together to show up at their door and Christmas carol. Kids can definitely get involved with that. So there's lots of free things that you can do for those who really don't really know what they want or say they don't know. But the last thing I think of with adults who don't know what they want, or especially grandparents, I love the idea of giving them like a kid's gift. So instead of thinking, oh, what would an adult that age want? Yeah. What about a kid? So we've sent a piñata to a grandparent before, and they had never had one before. So I thought, oh, that worked out really well. Or there's some apps that you can download, and you can take your family pictures or pictures you've taken, and it'll just sketch the outline. And then I put it together as a coloring book for the grandparents. It's something you would give a kid, but adults love it too because it's memories. It's thinking outside of the box. So you can take vintage toys, get them a toy that came out when they were a kid. Like they would think, oh my gosh, I think of all the memories when I had that toy, and my brother and sister played with it all the time. So there's lots of ideas out there. You just have to sit and think a little bit more for those people. And it's not necessarily, okay, what do I see in the magazines or catalogs coming? What do I see in the commercials? It's, okay, do I know them really well? And what are the things that would push their love button or their sentimental button and bring those memories that they're just going to put a smile on their face instead of, wow, you bought that from the store. It's something different.
Gee, thanks. I didn't know I needed this because I did.
Yeah, right. Another scarf. Exactly. Unless you make it. So hand make stuff,
Exactly.
Teach your kids a skill.
Yeah.
They can make stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. And you're right. As they start to get older, they can make things, and then they might start to have hobbies in those things. So it is fun as they get like a little bit older, they can do that. I'm even just thinking, there's so many fun ways you can write a poem for them, or, like 25 things I love about you, for Christmas or something. There's like fun ways that you can do, I think of just like even birthdays and stuff where you write a lot of favorite things for your friends. I write a lot of poems for friends, like Lordy, they're turning 40. There's so many fun ways.
And it doesn't have to be fantastic. No, the cornier, the better.
It's actually like my favorite things are like, I've gotten that in return, and I'm like, it just makes you smile because it's really someone saying like, you're valuable and I want to spend time. Even though I can't think of the perfect gift, like this is what you're like, bringing what you can. So I think that's actually the biggest thing that now when we kind of talk about, like, this is a really great variety of things just to get you started thinking. So I guess one of the questions, because I feel like people are worried about spending too much, but at the same time, they don't want to buy something that's cheap. So there are ways to get bargains. There are great websites. And I know I'm always asking you for these. Why don't you share just some of the ones that you watch or what you watch kind of on a daily or weekly basis that you feel like have been helpful?
Yeah, there's definitely a few I always go back to. I think automatically of Crazy Coupon Lady. It's a great website. They can send you weekly emails or daily emails even. And this time of year, their people go find all the best deals or with a coupon, without a coupon. And if it's on your list, they'll tell you how to get the best deal on it. So it's a great website. I get their daily emails.
That's a free website, right?
Yeah. Yep. And I get their emails so you can just see, is there something you can be shopping for? So that's a great site. I also recommend there's websites that will track how much an item costs over like the last year. One that comes to mind is called Camel. You can type in, or you can even drop a link from Amazon into their website, and it will show you the best price over the last year. So you can see if you're really getting it at the lowest price, or if you need to wait a little bit and watch it. You can also see like, when is it usually on sale? Sometimes that's going to be in the spring. And so it's not going to be close to Christmas. So you do have to think ahead. But it's a great website to use for especially those bigger priced items. But there's also rebate sites. If you shop through their site, you can get some cash back. So yeah, definitely use the stuff that's out there. The people who are already, that's what they do for their work, is go to find you deals. So if you don't have the time, there's people out there who are doing it for you. So just search for it.
I think too, like some of these, when we're talking about like the big ticket items, so we kind of talked about like Black Friday. Sometimes there are big deals. I think of our parents. I think they enjoy, maybe now that us kids aren't at home, like they enjoy maybe Black Friday shopping, but that's a great time where they actually find a lot of good deals and get some of these bigger ticket items that they are looking for, that you can get really good deals for. So I do think it depends on what you're trying to buy. So if it is some of these more expensive things, I think it's a great idea that if you use a website like the Camel, where you can see what the price has been, now you see what the price is going to be on Black Friday. And now it gives you a really good comparison to see, is it worth maybe that time and the craziness?
Right.
Maybe it is for something you're trying to give.
Yep. And you can also think Cyber Monday. I mean, that's after, and if you don't necessarily want to go to the stores. Another thought is, like, us as a family, we always, when us sisters get together with mom and dad, we're doing it after Christmas. And so if you really need to look for a sale, not only Black Friday, but you can also look after Christmas, because things also go on sale again. And you're not having your Christmas till New Year's time. So it gives you some flexibility, just the time you have, or knowing when you're going to have your Christmas presents with certain people in your family or friends.
What's cool about it is that we're all always together whenever it is that we come together. So it's not like, oh, this year they're going to be here, next year they're not. Because for us, I mean, we're all kind of spread out. And so it's really cool because you're in Texas, I'm in Chicago, and, mom and dad in Kansas. And so we all kind of come together. And so I just think like it makes it really special because the cousins all get to see each other, and we know they're going to be there, unless, obviously something happens last minute.
Yeah.
But that's been something cool. Something else. So as our families grow, one of the other big questions comes, okay, there's a lot of cousins. If I'm going to buy for all 12 cousins, that's going to get really expensive. And as they get older, they want more expensive gifts. So describe what we've done kind of to try and help contain some of that.
So we've done a few different things, but I know one year when they were younger, we had done regift an item, something you have, give it to another cousin who doesn't see it all the time because they don't live with you. So when they're little, that kind of worked better because they didn't know it was used. But if you wrap it up real nice, they don't know. Yeah. So that's great when they're smaller. But as they got older, they would want a list or had certain things they wanted. So we would just draw names. The last few years, we've been drawing names for cousins. They buy for one other cousin who's not in their family. And then they give them the list, or if they want ideas, but there's also a limit on it. So having a limit with kids is important so they see what things cost. And that's not just in cousins, that can be with siblings or however you want to do it, but giving them a cash amount, even just giving them cash to do it. They can learn when this money's gone, I don't get any more. So that's important to learn.
Done it different ways where when they're little, it was almost like, okay, $10 limit because these are little things that they're not going to remember. But as they've gotten older, now we draw names. So each cousin buys for one other cousin. And we try to mix it up, right? I don't know if we do that really well. Like we try so they're buying for different.
I think even last year we had one of the cousins on FaceTime drawing the names so everyone could see. But having a limit. Everyone's got the same amount. It makes it,
and you kind of get the list. So you're thinking again about like one other person. So that's a great way to do it. That's a fun way. I think so let's kind of shift because little kids, these are all great ideas. These are easy ways to kind of find good deals. So as you get older and you maybe have the things kind of in this middle age, maybe not necessarily to the point where you're like, I don't need anything, but like experiences. I think those are another great way for people to do things together instead of spending money on a thing. Talk us through a little bit, like some thinking around this, because I know you guys do this. You try to do it with your family.
Yeah. So Thanksgiving, we always just go somewhere as a family. That's kind of been our tradition. We don't tell our kids what we're doing. But as they've gotten older, it's, oh, well, we usually go somewhere, but we still don't tell them.
Okay. I wondered if they like have caught on by now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Now it's like, oh, we might do, we usually, so we'll see. If it's still a surprise because they don't know where we go. So, but you have the time off, so it's usually a great time to do it as a family. But I'm thinking Christmas, like gifting specifically experiences. It could be going somewhere, meeting up as a family, get a VRBO or Airbnb, and everyone can be together in a different place, not someone's house necessarily. Or thinking, if you're thinking for grandkids or as a parent for your own kids, you could get them a membership to, say, the zoo for the whole next year, or to the children's museum in the area, because you can continually use it. You can go with them, or other people can, and you're also building memories at the same time. So those are great gifts that are more experiential, or going to a movie, or doing another coupon book with just experience things like, let's go get our nails done together, or let's go to a movie, or to the park in the neighborhood. It doesn't even have to be something that costs you money, like let's go for a walk or whatever it may be. But there's lots of things you can do just together, spending time as an experience versus a gift.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I love how there's a variety of, even just like gifts at different dollar amounts, experiences, because I'm thinking like huge trips and travel, and if they're adults, like going together, stuff like that, but like when it's a family, I think even you've kind of done it where if you're traveling somewhere, but like maybe the kids don't have suitcases yet. So like the suitcase is their gift, that again, it's a thing, but they're going to take it and use it. And maybe, you get something fun during the trip for them to remember it. So
yes,
there's a lot of fun ways
like
to do it.
Long car rides, you could do books then, and they can read them while you're in the car, or a video game that they've been wanting that they can use on the car ride there, or new PJs while they're on vacation, because that just makes it even feel more special when you're just lounging around. So you can gift as you go somewhere as well.
Yeah, I think those, like, I just think it's fun. It's like the planning of it. And like you guys have kind of done a lot, where it's a surprise, they don't know. And like, I know at Thanksgiving, like that's going to be fun because we normally stay home, but this year we're going to go somewhere and then we're meeting up. And so that's going to be kind of fun. So this is why our kids are not listening to this podcast until after Thanksgiving, at least. But it's like, stuff like that where it's fun because it is a little bit of a surprise. And I think, I don't know, kids, like they love that surprise. They love the thoughtfulness. So that's really, what you're doing ultimately. And we've been talking a lot about this on some of our recent podcasts, is you're building relationships. You're really building, like, money is something you're using to buy things or experiences, but ultimately you're building these relationships, and these are memories they're going to look back on, and or the way that you give something and how I was taught to do this or how I was shown to do it. So many times, kids just watch how people do things. And so I think it's just all of, as grandparents, as aunts and uncles, this is why this is for everybody, because the way that you're doing it, the way you cook the family recipe, or you have your tradition of going to Honey Baked Ham and buying a ham, like everybody is so different. And so it can become your tradition, which is, I think, what really makes this memorable. All right. No, that's helpful. All right. Okay. So let's kind of make this a little funny for a second. What is like white elephant gifts? Because people go to parties, they're thinking, oh, I have this party coming up, white elephant gift, or what do you take? So we have a version of this with our family that we do after we open all of our gifts. And it's like so funny because this is, I think the grandkids, like, this is their favorite part. So it's funny. And it's like $10 or less, right?
Yeah, I think we may have bumped it to 15.
It might be.
I was against that. I think it just challenges you more. I think it should be 10.
But you guys are so good at this. So I want you to share like some of the ideas that you guys have put together. It's so fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, I can't take credit for them because most of the time I'm just looking them up online and finding something else someone has done. But so we have done, I think the first time we went all out was fish and chips. So we stopped by Walmart on the way to mom and dad's. We got some goldfish in the little baggie they come in, and grabbed a bag of potato chips. And so someone got to open real goldfish on Christmas, and they got some fish and chips. I don't know what happened to
I
the
love
fish.
it.
We'll leave it at that.
Yep.
Anyway, so fish and chips was one year. I found another great idea online. So print a picture of yourself. We did my husband in this one. We framed it in a frame we already had, and he autographed it with #1 fan and signed it with his name. So that gift actually has been given every year. Someone
It's
will
still
open up
going
this.
around.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth so much money now.
Yep.
So just a picture of yourself with your autograph, and people just think it's hilarious. So
It's-
very simple.
It's so funny because it's like, it's just like, it's this like cheap gold frame. I mean, maybe like the Dollar Tree, just like a frame like that, nothing special. And it says to my #1 fan, like with his picture. And it keeps, I'm pretty sure this frame is like being taped together at this point, but the person who gets it, like brings it back and puts it in, like adds it to their gift the next year. So it just keeps circulating. It's so funny. But I just think like, that's how you do a white elephant well. So I just love the creativity, because I am the person who's trying to find something so creative, but I'm going to the store and trying to find something off a shelf, but you just lose so much of the creativity in that.
Yeah, and if you feel bad giving that, I mean, slap a little $10 gift card to it, or $5 or whatever your limit is, and then they'll laugh, but then they'll still feel like they got something. So you can balance it with something, or think some candy or something to go with it. But
exactly. No, I think
it should be fun.
Yeah, I think those are great. Well, especially like, who doesn't love getting like a $10 bill if that was your thing? And you wrap it in this ridiculously sized box, or hide it, like in all of this tissue paper. I mean, that's where it's like the fun of how you do this, I think is just really fun. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I think one that I've come to like, so we were talking about experiences. Do you want to share what we've decided? So again, so now like your siblings and you're older, like how do you keep buying gifts? I know we got to the point where we were just doing gift cards for each other. So like, what do you want? What do you want? But then we like nixed that. Yeah. So now tell us what we do.
Yeah. So now that we're all parents, we have kids. I mean, really, parents with young kids always want a night out. And so what's better than going with your siblings? So I don't even know, how many years has it been we've been doing this?
I mean, probably like 7 or 8. I don't know. It's been a long time.
I'm trying to think. Okay. Yeah, it's probably been 8, maybe 9 actually.
Yeah, it might be.
I think of children. I think of it by children when they were born.
Because, okay. So tell what we do, and then we'll say like why.
Yeah. So we decided we're not doing gifts anymore, because like she said, just doing gift cards, it's really just exchanging money. So it's not fun anymore. So we just have decided on a restaurant we schedule it around Thanksgiving usually, because the place we go to has a really awesome room.
So like we call and get the reservation.
Yes.
Starting like now we should be doing it.
I mean, to be honest, I call and get the reservation.
Yeah, Lisa's supposed to be doing that. So get on that.
Some years I have failed. So,
so plan ahead.
Yeah. Plan ahead, reserve a spot, because around the holidays, most places are busy. But we usually try to get a place we can get a room to ourselves and just enjoy a dinner together. This has become our Christmas tradition. It's fun. You don't feel rushed. The grandparents watch the kids, which they love.
Which is a huge
We put
gift.
them in their PJs, right? They can watch a movie for the night while we go out to dinner. So we go out to dinner. And then sometimes we'll even make it to dessert and be able to go get chocolate or ice cream afterwards. So, it's real. I think it's so much better than a gift card.
Well, it's become, I mean, it's just like, it's a chance. I feel like it's a chance for us to it's kind of like this. So what's new with you this year? I mean, it's like, what happened this year? How are things? And it's just a chance for the 8 of us to just like sit around and talk. And what's cool actually is the place that we've gone, and we just stumbled upon this, is they have this room that's like right by, it's like the rotisserie chicken, like turns behind this glass. It's like a fireplace, and it has curtains. And so like this room is like a quiet room. It's like you have your private room. They don't charge for this.
No.
We just ask for it well enough in advance. And so we've gotten to be in there, and it just really creates kind of like this environment of like our own little party. We're just going to dinner, and it's so cool.
Yeah, it is. And I think even our waitresses and waiters have so much fun serving us because we are so loud. But
well, it's our chance to be like, we don't have kids around.
No. Yeah. And we're not cooking anything. We're just sitting and enjoying. So I'd highly recommend it.
Yes, I think that's just been something that I think I've really enjoyed. And what was funny about this in the beginning, you were starting to say, like, we marked this by like how old our kids are. Yeah. Because it kind of became this, like, you look around and you see who's not having a drink, like, and you're kind of like, I wonder why they're not like a glass of wine or something. And you're kind of like, so is there something we should know? And so like, I can't remember if anyone like announced that they were pregnant at any of these, or if we knew. But it's like our suspicions when we were like when we were all younger, having kids, it was fun.
Yeah.
So it's been kind of fun. So even like these ideas, I'm hoping that this is really helpful to just share things you can do that are meaningful, that create relationships. And honestly, what is happening is that your money that you work, you earn, you save, spend wisely, because you're doing all of these things, you're setting yourself up, your future self. So even if we're thinking, okay, my December self now in January isn't going to have all these credit card bills because we set a budget and we said, okay, even, sometimes I think sometimes people don't set a budget, but even sitting down and saying, what do I normally spend? And when you put everybody on this list, it can even be like, here's who we're buying for, but even kind of like this, well, wait, who are we not buying for? Because you could buy a gift for everybody. I mean, there's your mailman, there's all these people that you interact with all year long, and you want to do something special for them. So there's just so many things like that where I think this list can get so big and we can be giving to so many people. So I think even just who we do and don't give for could be just as useful.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a gift. Like, you can still give them something without buying a gift. It's just the thought that counts for a lot of people, remembering that they do things for you or they help you in a certain way, and pointing that out that time of year. So if they come to mind as putting on your list, but you're thinking, I don't know what to get them, or, just remember them, send them a really nice card, and explain it to them that you're thinking about them, especially during Christmas.
Yeah. People love to be remembered. I think that even more than the what it is or if you're getting something. I think that's what they love. And so what is the best way to do that for the people on your list? Is we kind of talked about this, like you touched on it a little bit, but so how, as you have kids and you're trying to teach them, how to give, we're trying to teach them how to give well, how to be thoughtful of others. And you kind of mentioned, have them do stuff with you. I think one of the things too that you're really good about as we talk about, our January self not disliking our December self, is that, you get a bunch of new things. And so this just like piles on top of all of the toys that you had, or piles on top of the books that you have. So why don't you explain, because you're really good about trying to manage kind of the stuff. How do you handle that? Like once kids get a bunch of new stuff?
Yeah, so since we do have 2 kids with December birthdays, it's even more important because they're getting birthday and Christmas. So really this time of year in the fall is when I'm thinking, okay, we need to start looking at what we already have. And I just, now that the kids are older, hey, go in your room and look at the toys that you haven't played with for quite a while. And a lot of them are still really nice that they can donate to other kids. But I explained to them, you have new toys coming for your birthday or Christmas, and you're not going to have a place to put it. It can't go on the floor. Like, that's not taking care of these nice gifts that people have thought about to give you. So let's pick up a few things. How many things can you think of that you're not using anymore that we could give to someone else, explaining to them it's still good, it's still a great toy, let's let someone else use it who will enjoy it, pass it on. And then that creates space for all the stuff that's coming in, that they're going to spend, how much time playing with over all their Christmas break in the next year. So yeah, it's really cleaning out beforehand, thinking about being aware that it's coming in, and explaining to them the purpose of it, but that it's not just going to waste. You're able to give this now to someone else who may use it, or think of a friend who might want it. One of their friends may want that toy. I know we've given toys to some of our friends before. So there's lots of ways you can use those that aren't being used anymore.
Yeah, no, I think that's helpful. I think, no, I know you manage this really well. Like even when the kids were little, you're kind of like, oh, they have new toys, and you'd kind of wait and like reintroduce them, after a month or two, because they forget about them, and you're like, hey, these toys again. So do you even do like where they get something new, but they have to get rid of something? Is it kind of like if one's coming in, one's going out, or are you not that strict?
I'm not that strict. But yeah, I do want them to just think, how much do you know you're going to be getting? So let's think ahead of time and prepare space for it. But yeah, some of it, especially with younger kids, as the toys are bigger, and maybe you aren't ready to get rid of that toy, but they haven't been playing with it for a while, but they will again. I'll just make a tub, write on it toys, and put it in the attic or the garage, wherever your extra storage space is. And then after Christmas, and they kind of get tired of the Christmas toys, I swap them out and put that old bucket back down, and they think it's new again. So it's got a new life, and then put the new ones back up. I mean, you can just recycle them, especially if you know you're for sure not done with them. And it gives them something new. It makes the year, kind of fresh again. So those are other ways, or just with siblings, they can trade toys. It doesn't have to be their own toys. They can trade with a sibling and exchange something that would make sense that maybe their brother or sister want to play with now.
Yeah. No, I just love all this. It's our stuff. It's how are we managing it? How do we do that well, so that we do make memories? We do have lasting, impressions, and just our relationships with this, but also too, just having that healthy relationship with stuff. So I think this is just gives a lot of people just good things to think about for how they're doing that. Because I know it can be hard when sometimes you're like starting where it's like, oh, we have all this. How do we kind of cut back first? So this just helps people to think about, what am I spending on? Who do I need to get something for? And, let's be purposeful about it. So, no, I think that's a great reminders.
With kids too, is just thinking, as you're buying gifts, like letting them know like this, someone had to pay for this toy. And so when they have the opportunity, especially I think of when, like, whether it's birthdays or Christmas, but with my kids, I have them buy a present for their sibling. And so we have a budget, like this is how much you can spend on them. This is the cash. And sometimes it's, I want you to be able to earn this cash. So give them a job to do around the house and let them realize, oh, I had to earn this money, or someone earns the money when they give me gifts as well. And then they really slow down and think about, do I really want to buy this for them? I can get 2 of these for this amount, or I can get this one bigger thing, which is just so good for them to think about. And then they take into, tax, I'm going to run out if then I spend tax on it. So there's really so many opportunities financially. You can start teaching your kids that you have to work for things, and then you get paid for it. And then when you do get paid, it's like, how much am I going to spend or give away or save? So there's so many opportunities to teach your kids through this, how to spend their money wisely, and then how it can impact other people as well, not just themselves. Yeah, no, I think that's so helpful. So yeah, thanks for sharing all of those pieces. I know, and people have time after listening to this to really kind of say, okay, wait, maybe I've already got a few things, but I want to kind of think about this a little differently. How do I do it? So you have time to really set a good plan. You've got time before Christmas. So this is great. I hope this encourages people to really start thinking about it. I know I need to go home and solidify my list. I've have been guilty of thinking of all these things, but then something pops up. So I'm I need to write it down. And I think this will be really good. Then we're all on the same page. So any final thoughts that you have to kind of send people off on their shopping journeys? Oh, no, just be intentional. I think that's the word I think of whenever I'm gifting with someone, is be intentional, whether it's handmade or whether you do go buy something, just make it intentional with how you wrap it, or intentional of that you went out of your way to find that special thing that they really wanted, whether it's personalized or not. There's so many ways to let them know that you took the time to think of them receiving that gift and that it would be special for them.
Yeah, no, thank you. I think that's great. All of everything we've shared, I feel like has been this resounding, echo of all of these pieces. So I hope it'll be fun to hear as people share kind of what they've done or what they changed, or, if there was something that they liked that they put into practice. So thank you so much for spending time. Coming out from behind the scenes isn't that bad.
Now I'll go back to my hole.
Now you can go back behind the scenes where you like to be. We joke, I know, like we're all different. So thank you for sharing this, because I think this is a lot of like just valuable wisdom and advice for people as they're thinking about all of this as we head into the holidays. So it can make them meaningful. All right. Well, thank you again, Lisa. Sometimes it is a good idea just to do like a good checkup with your finances before the holidays, because they do get busy. So we've been doing a lot of tax planning. We're checking in with clients, really kind of finishing things for the year, because we've been doing all this planning during the year. And so this is really, kind of what you're starting to do for the Christmas season. So how are you ending the year financially? This is what we're really trying to encourage you to think about. What do you look to or evaluate how your holidays went? So how do you do that well? What do you want to be doing differently going into 2024? It's not the end of the year yet, but there is time to start thinking about it so you can start next year off well. So what we've been talking about on recent podcasts that might interest you are just relationship topics like this: how to talk to your adult kids about your family finances, how to help your parents with transitioning, so managing their finances, but also just physical stuff. So there's some really practical things there that you might enjoy about estate planning and holidays and awkward finance topics. There's so many great, fun conversations that we've had. I think you would enjoy. So until next time, you want to be sure that you get your financial insights into your email inbox every other week. So sign up on our website so you don't miss any of these resources, such as these great podcast episodes that we're recording and you're listening to today. And until next time, we will talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening. To find any links or resources related to this episode, check out our show notes. Your host was Michelle Smallenberger, a certified financial planner and CEO. The guests featured are from Financial Design Studio, a team of experienced fiduciary, fee-only advisors based in Chicago. Anna Lewis is the executive producer of the Behind the Designs podcast. And as always, for more information about Financial Design Studio and who we are, check out our website, financialdesignstudio.com. And final note, no content discussed on this podcast should be taken as financial advice. Financial Design Studio accepts no responsibility for your individual choices. We'll see you in the next episode.